Morning. Let's get to work. Man, that sun is bright. So before we feed cows or check on the kittens, I'm throwing away some trash, and I think I'm gonna show you guys inside the hog barns because we're right in between the middle of a turn and there's no pigs in there. Since we got some new viewers, they might want to see what it's like inside of them. Just walked in the door here into the barn. This is kind of the office area where all your controls are. So we got the 2 water tanks. We get water from a pond, so these are the tanks that get filled up, and once they get to a certain PSI, the pump kicks on and fills them all the way back up. Got a heater in here as well. We do have a little bit of water here on the floor. That kind of happens when it rains just because of how this barn is set up. So a little bit of water gets in here. Yeah, that's no bueno. But right here's all the water systems. These are the filters. They are a little dirty at the moment. They're actually not as dirty as they look. But here's all the controls. These are just meters. These are for medication. So you'll have a tote down below and it'll pump medication into the lines, which we haven't had to use those for quite some time. Which, fingers crossed, we don't have to use them. These are the sensors. So Dad will get phone calls and stuff if the water gets cut off here. On this side, these are the brain boxes that pretty much have all your alarms and everything. And you got all your fans in the back. You have your heat zones. You have your curtains up front. I mean, you got everything here. And here's the barn. This is actually our oldest hog barn. It got new slats a year ago, a little over a year ago. So all brand new slats in this barn. Still haven't put up new gating, but we've already done some work to the gates in here. Got some welding that's been done because pigs are pretty rough on things. But yeah, all new slats throughout this whole hog barn. It's a pretty long ways down here. But these are the heaters that heat the barn up. There's another one over there. We also have these, I think these are brewers. We don't use these. We haven't used them ever, honestly. I don't know why we had to put them up. So right here you see this foam. So that's insulation in the side curtains. We do have side curtains. Some people don't actually have side curtains. So if we lose electricity for a certain amount of time, and the generators don't kick on in that time, it drops the side curtains if it's hot outside. And then there is a curtain in the middle, which it will drop as well. So what happens for airflow in this building for like the pigs and stuff and for controlling the temperature is the curtains up front will drop and lower depending on the temperatures. And also these fans in the back will turn on and off depending on how hot it is. It'll turn them on, turn them off, all on its own. And these are the motors that run the feed lines here. So there's 2 that come across, and then there's 1 that comes from the side of the barn to bring the feed over. This side has the sensor in it, right on the side. Do you see that? I don't know if you can see that. I'll get over the gate so you can see it. But here's the sensor. So that sensor reads if the feed's in here. So whenever the feed comes into the barn, so it comes in from that side of the barn, it comes over, it'll feed that whole row, and then it'll start feeding this row. So there's sensors to turn off the motors. So that's pretty much it for the hog barns. I know we got quite a few new subscribers, so I wanted to show you guys what it's like inside of them. If you guys really want to know kind of what it's like with pigs in here, there is a guy on YouTube, This Will Do Farms, and he makes pretty good content about the pigs that he raises. We're a contract finisher. I really don't know whether I can record or not. I don't know. I don't really know. I don't know if it would get us in trouble since those pigs aren't ours. But yeah, since there's no pigs in here, I can bring you in here, show you guys around. But yeah, I do need to ask, especially if we get more people following. I will eventually ask. Since you guys have seen the inside, here's what the outside looks like a little bit up close. So these boxes here lift up and lower these curtains up front And so there's 2 sets of them here. So this is a room, so this barn is split in half. So I showed you guys one half of that barn, and then this right here is where the pigs load in and load out. Now when this barn was originally built, it had wooden unload chutes, which they were junk, and these have lasted a heck of a lot longer than they did. Those always had problems, and well, wood just doesn't last as long as concrete. So we had these built, and these have been really nice for us. So all that sensors for lowering and lifting up the hog barn's curtains, and they all have these little tiny pulleys and string that hold it up. I would go out there and show it to you guys closer, but it's really windy and I don't think the mic is gonna like that. But yeah, I'd like to come up with another design for these curtains, because you see how it's pulling them from the top and then these come down, and there's a bunch of these strings that come over and hook up to the main wire. I wish it was just a roller up on top that just coiled up the string, instead of having all these pulleys and stuff. It just one big old bar on top that pull it up and down. I think that would fix a lot of the problems that we have with these curtains, because those strings get old, the pulleys have problems. It's always something with these. Every few years you gotta change those out and fix that stuff. So yeah, and then there's the bins here on the side. So 2 bins per half of the barn. So, or per room, 2 bins per room. Yeah. So that's kind of how that works. So there's a motor on the front of the barn that pulls it over into the room, and then those 2 pull it back. Yeah, and then there's pit fans here on the side of the barn, and then these are the same kind of curtain design here for the side. I've seen some barns online, and This Will Do Farms, where they don't have the side. I honestly, if I were to build a barn, I'd like that. I just don't know if, I mean, we've never had any problems where we really need the side curtains, but they do drop every once in a while if we don't get power from the generators quick enough. And those are also where we pull out, so we'll move those fans off of those little pit areas, and that's where we'll pull out the hog manure as well. So we have a barn over there on the hill. We got this barn, this is barns 1 and 2, and then we got a barn back that way, which these 2 barns are similar, actually pretty well identical. They weren't built that far apart from each other, but then this barn over here is a little bit different, so I guess I'll take you over there. So here's 5 and 6. As you guys can tell, it just goes straight out. So we're kind of at a lower point here in the parking lot, which has its pros and cons. Its cons is, well, you can see it right there, water will sit down here. But the pros is it's just straight out of the barn, and the pigs just come straight out, which is really nice. Curtains are designed the same. Inside the barn is a little bit different. On that newer barn, it has a different feeder design and water design. I didn't really go into depth. I'm kind of sorry about that on the older barn, but this newer design is kind of crappy. It's just one kind of bulk feeder, and then the water is separate, whereas the old barn, you see those 2 tubes that filled up with feed, and then there's water bowls on the side of that unit, and it makes it really easy to clean out, whereas this bulk design that's in that new barn, you have to take the feeder out and flip them all. You gotta flip them all upside down and then power wash it to get them clean, whereas the other one you can just power wash it where it's at and get it clean real easy. So just more work, just more work. With all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Hopefully you guys learned something. If you got any questions, leave them in the comment section below. Yeah, leave a like on the video, hype it if you haven't, and subscribe if you're new around here. And let's go take care of the cows, because they've been waiting for me. Remember how I said in the last video that Jared was using the new dozer to push in this pond? Well, he ended up finishing the job with the old dozer and got it all pushed out. looks like we have a little low spot, which that won't take very long to fix up. Now it is a absolute sloppy mess out here, guys, and I am not feeding the cows very far into the pasture because I don't want to track up the whole pasture, but it is a little muddy. It's drier than it was yesterday, so I'm gonna put out more bales than I did yesterday. I only put out 4 yesterday, and they needed more because they have devoured every bale I put out, so I'm gonna put out 6 today for them. Just standing. Here's a bull. He's not one of our big bulls. Cute little calf. They're chowing down now. I'm gonna set 2 more down here, and then I'm gonna take 2 and put them on kind of the pathway that we normally drive to get farther into the pasture. They're getting after it. Bah, look what I found. I don't fall out of the tractor. Are you okay? Are you okay? Still works? Yep. I'd say left it here whenever cut this tree. No bueno. There they are. Hi. What's up? It's kind of dark. Lighting's not very good in here. Hi. You guys are almost to the point where you could probably get close to eating food. Don't you think? You think you can? So cute. You're just chilling back here, not letting me pet you. Mama's at the moment eating food I just gave her. Yeah. If you guys weren't in this thing, you guys would be all over the shop, and that would not be a good thing. So it's good that you guys are still in there. And you guys are a lot tamer than the last bunch, which is great. Just great. Got the skid steer up here at the shop. Tomorrow morning we're getting more seed, and then we're also going to get chemical as well. Yeah. Got the 90-20 up in the shop and the 80-40. Need to change the air filter on this unit and the cab filter, and I also want to grease all my pivot points before I put this on the drill. Already filled it up with fuel. Same thing with this tractor. Changed out the air filters. Both these tractors are good on their oil change. Also want to grease the front end of this tractor, which this tractor is a super steer, so it's got a bunch of grease zerts. Some people love the super steer that New Holland had. Some people hate it. I personally love it. I mean, this tractor turns better than that little red tractor I was just in. I mean, it gets up. I mean, it's insane how well these tractors turn. Not as good as a 2-wheel drive tractor, but pretty dang close. So, yeah, I think this might be my favorite tractor. Small frame, articulating tractor with about 350 horsepower, probably, because it's got a chip. So, it's kind of my favorite tractor, and it's smooth. It's a lot smoother than our big 4-wheel drive, or big Canada, as I like to call it. It's a lot smoother. So actually right now we're going to go down the road and put a monitor in that tractor so that it's ready to rock and roll, because it's going to go on the corn planter. Everybody's gone today. Mom and Dad are on vacation. Aden's at his girlfriend's. He has to do that every Sunday. And then Jared's bowling at the moment. He's actually in a tournament, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, so I'm alone. Grandpa's here though. Grandpa and Grandma are here. Grandpa just got done getting fuel, and he's gonna go ahead to his bulldozer. So, and Skirt just decided to turn the fan on. I don't know why it wasn't running before, but it's running now. running now, but it wasn't running when I just started it. That's strange. So we're up here in the big shed at the moment. I'm actually going to be selling this fertilizer cart we got here. It's 8 ton, 60-foot spread. Yeah, really good cart. Heck of an upgrade compared to what I started out with. I had a 6 ton, 45-foot spread cart. This thing is really nice. It's got a tarp on the top of it as well. Saw one of these sell for $20,000 at a local auction, so probably gonna list this one pretty similarly. But yeah, really good unit for us. Just don't need it anymore since we got the Trident over there. But yeah, guess I'll kind of go over where these tractors are going and what they're hooking up to. So this is our big discavator, 33 foot. That'll go in the 9482, which is our older articulating tractor. Got our 26-foot discavator here. That'll go on the 8040, which we are in desperate need of a new jack on this unit. The original jack that came with this machine got wrecked by a previous employee. For some reason, the jack was still mounted right here, but sideways, and whenever he turned and the 3-point wasn't raised yet, bent the jack and messed it up. The jack shouldn't have been there. It should have been already mounted over here, and it shouldn't have caused any problems, but it wasn't where it was supposed to be. I mean, mistakes happen and things happen, so. But that happened a long time ago. I found this jack and I replaced it with it. This jack has worked for a few years, and whenever I unhooked from this machine last, that jack decided it didn't want to work anymore. So yeah, that was no bueno. So I got a Walmart El Cheapo 2-ton little floor jack holding it up so I can hook up to this whenever I get done with 8040. But yeah, this actually runs over most of our acres. Well, I say runs over most of our acres. We don't work that much ground, but anything that we're gonna work, pretty much hit it with this. So yeah, we don't work that much ground, mainly just no-till. So I spend most of my time with this drill and the 9020, which is also up there at the shed. So the 9020 goes on this 40-foot John Deere drill. These are two Kinseys, both 24 rows, but this is a 30-inch corn planter, 24 row, and this is a 20-inch 24 row, and this is our bean planter. So yeah, there's the Trident. So the T8 300 right here up front, that goes on the little 24 row, and then Big Canada back there, our T9 435 goes on the big 24 row, which it looks like a ginormous tractor, and it is a pretty massive tractor. It's kind of a little, size-wise it's overkill, but power-wise it's pretty well where it needs to be for pulling that 24 row. And this tractor right here is a little underpowered for pulling that planter there. It says 300 on the side of it, but I think it's rated for like 250 horsepower. And we have not chipped this tractor, which I'm really surprised we haven't. But yeah, the stuff that goes in this blue cap doesn't work anymore on this tractor, which is pretty cool, which is really great. Also need to do that to this tractor, but that hasn't happened yet. But yeah, I wish this tractor had a chip on it, because it's kind of like a neutered, it's like a neutered dog or something. But yeah, I've got a monitor in here. We're gonna throw it up there. It actually got sent off to get all updated for this year, so I don't know what really got upgraded or what happened, but yeah, we just got this back, so I'm gonna mount it up here in the tractor. So we got it mounted here in the tractor. Might get some zip ties and zip tie that up a little bit better, but it's mounted in here. Also need to grab the monitor for that tractor as well and put it in it. It's actually in my house. We take the monitors out normally after planting season, just so that well, whenever these things are doing different tasks, nothing happens to it. Especially since like these kind of wobble around a little bit and they'll loosen up, and I don't want them to fall off or anything. Well, the door decided to shut itself, but I'm in the T8300, which needs to be cleaned up before we put it on the planter. It's still pretty dirty from harvest. But yeah, here's the mounting place for the Kinsey monitor for that new planter. I think it's a 5700. And yeah, so you gotta run 2 monitors in this tractor because, well, the Kinsey monitor can't run guidance, so you gotta have a separate monitor for guidance. So we got a smaller ag leader right here, which Jared just mounted up this year, because last year he actually didn't, past 2 years he didn't run a secondary monitor. He just did everything with his, just driving himself. But yeah, got the steering wheel mounted unit, because this tractor doesn't have all the fancy stuff put on the steering system. So yeah, which that tractor back there has everything built into the steering system itself, so you don't have to have anything on the steering wheel. Clips right in there, and now we're ready to rock. Yeah, really nice monitor, just wish it had guidance as well. But yeah, this tractor needs cleaned up. If it wasn't so windy, it wouldn't be a bad day to do that. But yeah, since it's Sunday, I don't really think I'm going to do too much more today. But I wanted to get these monitors thrown in here. Also want to make sure that the power disconnect is off. I think I forgot to turn it off on this tractor, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Because as soon as you hook up monitors into a tractor, they start pulling power pretty much. So, oh my, did you see that owl that just flew out of here? He went off that way. But yeah, I'm going to open this up and disconnect the battery. So, I think that's going to be it for this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you're new around here, and leave a comment what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next one.